Hola, senor.
It's working okay.
Wait for it.
We'll make one allowance.
Okay, we're live.
Okay.
We're live?
We're live.
All right.
We're live.
All right, I'll call our meeting to order. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everybody. We are having our commission meeting on a Monday, September 9th, rather than our regular meeting day on Wednesday. So mostly because the commission will be gone towards the end of this week and next week at Mako conference. All right, I will open our meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Anything from the commission or our staff? No? Okay, we'll move on.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of something.
Oh,
I just thought of something. It's 2 weeks early, but our meeting on, I can't see the calendar from here. Is it October 2nd? Our commission meeting will be in the evening at Headwaters
yes,
Livestock Auction at 6 p.m.
perfect.
Yeah.
Good. I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, it's been a while since we've been down there, and we kind of tried to develop a pattern of doing that, and then COVID came along and ruined that, and we're finally getting back to having those meetings down there, so I'm sure those folks will appreciate it. Okay. First item on our agenda, discussion decision, resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property and authorizing the disposal of that property. Who wants to do this? Any volunteers? No? All right, I'll do it.
You gonna do it? You got
I'll
it?
do it. I'll do it. So really what this is regarding is the old family medical clinic building that sits over by the courthouse. It's been in disrepair for a while, and we went through the whole process of getting an appraisal on it and trying to follow the statutes and sell it, and it just simply did not work. So this is our last option to declare it surplus property, and we'll go from there. We'll have another discussion later on. I'll go ahead and read the resolution. Resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property and authorizing disposal of that property. Whereas in accordance with 7-8-2201 Montana Code Annotated, Broadwater County owns personal property, a modular home which was sold to the county on February 20th, 2017, and there is a recorded bill of sale for that. Whereas the modular home was last used as medical offices and has sat unused and deteriorating since July 2022. Whereas the modular home is now known to be in need of major repairs, including but not limited to work repairing a roof leak, exterior doors, trim, siding, paint, carpet, skirting, and needing a new HVAC system. Whereas this modular home is not suitable or necessary to conduct county business, and the boards of county commissioners of this state may, subject to the provisions of this part, sell, trade, or exchange any personal property, however required, belonging to the county that is not necessary to conduct the county business or the preservation of its property. 7-8-2211 Montana Code Annotated. Whereas when personal property to be sold is valued at less than $2,500, it may be sold at either public or private sale as the Board of County Commissioner determines to be the best interest of the county. 7-8-2217 Montana Code Annotated. Whereas the Broadwater County Board of Commissioners deem it the best interest of Broadwater County that the modular home be declared surplus property and disposed of through private sale. Now therefore it be resolved by the Broadwater County Commissioners that the personal property described above and in the attached bill of sale is declared surplus property. Be it further resolved that the dilapidated modular home is valued at less than $2,500 and authorized to be disposed of through private sale as allowed by 7-8-2217 subsection 1 Montana Code Annotated. All right. Well, I know after we went through the process of trying to sell it, we also thought maybe we could refurbish it. And so we called in an engineering firm to help us determine the structural safety of that building, and they said that it would take a lot of work to bring it up to an acceptable code to be used for the public. And we decided that it was not worth putting that type of money into that building as well. So I think that we've explored all avenues. I think at this point, we will just declare it surplus property. And I'm thinking, Kay, you might be able to help us. We would would we just ask for some bids? Is that how we would do that?
Yes, Chairman Fulford, Kaylin Minor, Deputy County Attorney. You could simply, make a notice, a posting. Now, this is a little bit different than a public sale, so it doesn't have the same notice requirements. But yes, you could put that information out, accepting bids to XYZ date and the criteria for the winning bid. That's what you would put out to the public, and maybe do it through the closed bid. So it's
Sure.
you just take the highest bid wins, that sort of situation. But it really is as you structure that sale. And additionally, Chairman Fulford, the bill of sale that you referenced, and that is referenced in the document, is here if we want to post it on the,
Okay.
in lieu of you reading that into the record as well.
Yeah, okay.
But that's just for
Yeah.
historical context and reference.
That sounds good. Yeah, I don't think I need to read it, so, and it probably was that on our website as well? Was that bill of sale posted on our website or not? Okay. Yeah. It's available if someone's interested in it. So, and I think I think that's the best way to go, is to, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
Put out accept some sealed bids?
We've gone through the process.
Yep.
It's been a
And,
long process.
I think part of the criteria will be whatever the winning bid will be, they will also be responsible for removing the building.
I was just going to ask that question. Thank you.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I think that's the direction we'll go, if you guys are good with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's ready. It's time.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? No? All right, is there a motion?
I move to approve the resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property and authorizing the disposal of that property.
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion has been made and seconded to a resolution declaring tangible personal property owned by Broadwater County to be surplus property and authorizing the personal or the disposal of that property. Is there any public discussion? Any public discussion? Any public discussion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. I think we're headed down a good path. Next item on our agenda, discussion decision, Townsend K2, School District Number 1, fiscal year 2024-25 budget report, and fiscal year 2023-24 trustees report. Was Melissa going to be here for this, or no? I don't see her.
You know, Mr. Chair, if I may?
Yes, you may.
Excuse me. Susie Hedlund, the district superintendent, came in. She went through all of this with us last week.
Okay.
In quite a bit of depth and provided handouts. Everything has been posted. We had our agenda wasn't quite specific enough last week to allow us to make a decision on it, to approve it. So we changed that wording this week, and that is why it is back in front of us for final approval.
Okay.
And I would just add, Mr. Chairman, that last week also Jason Noyes, school board representative, was here.
Okay.
So it was very nice to have Susie and Jason here
Oh, perfect.
to answer a couple questions.
All right, great. I guess there's no any further questions or comments, discussion? No?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Bill Jurocki, County Administrative Officer. I'm not sure how you communicate after you take action on this with the school board, but the school district really needs to settle this issue with the library.
Yeah.
And how it's funded in next year's budget cycle. we were able, because of the increased value in the county, we're able to fund our portion of their budget, but we still don't have a satisfactory presentation of the library budget in terms of both what the school's responsibilities are and what our responsibilities are over time. We really need to get that cleaned up. So
Yep.
I would urge that that be added somehow in a communication, or give me a license to communicate. I'll be happy to do that.
Okay, sounds good. And I think there are some statutory requirements as well linked to that, so.
And the
Okay.
school is, Mr. Chair, excuse me, the school is aware that we need to iron that out and clarify things. So I think they're willing to meet, and we gotta just get it figured out.
Very good. All right, anything else?
I don't have anything.
All right.
Excuse me.
So is there a resolution that goes with this? I don't really think there is there?
We don't have one, but talking to County Attorney Swanson, he, as well as Deputy County Attorney Minor, they both recommended we do a resolution for this. I believe we can approve it today, and then we can have that resolution. The resolution will just say
Okay.
we are approving this.
Okay,
We can go that route.
good enough.
Chairman Folkvord, Deputy County Attorney Galen Minor, we are satisfied with that plan of attack. We do believe, pursuant to, again, other related statutes, that there should be a resolution specifically outlining this process and your specific approval
Okay.
of this budget. So
All right.
we will be doing that in the future as well, just kind of being more precise and more effective with our use of resolutions.
All right, very good. Okay, with that in mind, is there a motion?
I would move to approve the Townsend K-12 School District #1 fiscal year 2024-25 budget report and fiscal year 23-24 treasurer's report.
I will second that.
Okay, motion has made and seconded to approve the Townsend K through 12 School District #1 fiscal year 2024-25 budget report and fiscal year 2023-24 trustees report. Is there any public discussion? Any public discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Here, I forgot to hand this to you from the last one. Thank you. Okay, next item on our agenda, discussion decision, resolution to adopt the Broadwater County amended personnel policy. Commissioner Randolph, I'll let you take
I
that.
will
You
gladly,
have worked so hard, you and Kaylin
And Angie
and
Paulson,
Angie.
and
Yeah, you
before
guys, thank you so much.
Deputy County Minor, Deputy County Hatfield started this process. And it's just taken a while because it's hard to fit it into everyday workload. So we had many meetings to try to a section at a time. But I'm very confident, especially after Deputy County Attorney Minor's input, as well as West Staff, who is the company that we contract with for HR, that everything is covered. It's just a matter of cleaning it up, getting it up to date, moving forward. I think we need to look at this every year-ish, so it's not such a big to-do list. And my thought is, and I don't have that date in front of me, we have a department head meeting coming up sometime to explain this process to the department heads. We'll need lots of copies so all the employees can sign it. So it's not over yet, but the process and the policy, if it's approved today, I think is a very good working personnel policy.
All right, very good. I know there were several things added that we don't think about a lot. Social media being one.
AI.
Yeah, who would have thought of that? So
And that's going to need ongoing,
It will be.
ongoing
It will be.
updating.
So great work, you guys. Thank you so much for getting that amended and updated. Anything else?
Chairman Fulford, I'll simply also add that there was a whistleblower policy that was added,
Oh,
as
yeah.
well as a few updates to make sure that our definitions, our references were specific to Montana Code annotated statutes where applicable. Those are some of the biggest changes. And we also added the entire context, or the entire text, I should say, of the weapons in the courthouse policy, which is a previously issued order by all of our local judges.
Yeah.
So that's another big section that added a lot of bulk. So there's quite a bit, and there's two different policies for social media. Simply a social media use policy and a county-specific social media use policy, which is much longer, because that's where that social media post is coming with, like the backing of the county.
Yeah.
So we will really want to make sure that our department heads, who are going to be the ones who are authorized to implement county posts through social media, are very well educated on that. So that nobody is misrepresenting our best interests or what we're actually doing.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you very much for that. Anything else? No? All right. Is there a motion?
I would move to adopt the Broadwater County amended personnel policy.
I will second that.
Motion has been made and seconded to adopt the resolution accepting the Broadwater County amended personnel policy. Any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Look at that, done. So happy. No, keep it on there. The next thing's me too.
Okay, next on our agenda, excuse me, discussion decision, Nicole Brown, Community Development and Planning Director, 2024 amended subdivision regulations. Nicole?
Good morning, Commissioners. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director and Planner. Here today to present to you what I believe is the final draft of the 2024 Broadwater County subdivision regulations. Before I begin with any presentation, I would like to read a letter from the public into the record, if I may. This is an email from Bernadette Swenson of Schaber Surveying to myself. She states, Nicole, I hadn't had time to look at the changes to the proposed regulations until yesterday morning. Thank you for the changes clarifying final and filed. The changes are fine, but I do want to offer a few more comments and suggestions. I wasn't sure who it was appropriate to send this to, so I will let you forward it to who you need to if necessary. And for the record, I did forward this on to all three commissioners as well as Deputy County Attorney Kay Minor. Her email continues with my comments. Number 1, recorded final plats 2B7. A, if a final plat has been recorded at the County Clerk and Recorder Office, there can be no amendments to the recorded final plat unless necessary to correct an error on the certificate of survey per 763404 MCA or 763614 MCA. Or, she states, certificate of should be removed as a plat. Removed as a plat is not a COS, and the MCA statute should be added. B, any proposed changes to the recorded final plat require the subdivider to submit the new subdivision application to the subdivision administrator for review in a pre-application meeting and pay a new application fee. Subdividers will schedule a time to submit the new subdivision application. Should add, or C, use an allowed exemption under MCA Title 76, Chapter 3, Part 2. I think it's important for clarity to add the MCA statutes and add the use of an allowed exemption to amend a plat. Number 2, I am hopeful the county will take a last look at the fire protection water supply section for minor subdivisions. As this may be appropriate for larger subdivisions, I think it is a large requirement for a minor subdivision, especially 1 or 2 lots. Specifically, someone going through the subdivision process to remove an agricultural covenant on a single lot. This section begins with, a water supply of sufficient volume for effective fire control must be provided within the subdivision as follows. If I understand this correctly, the word must denotes all subdivisions will need to provide a fire protection water supply. This doesn't allow the fire department any opportunity to make an alternative fire plan unless the subdivider asks for a variance. I spoke during public comment. Option in 5RD1 would cost approximately $100,000 to $250,000 per the 4 engineers' estimates I received. The Commission commented that there were other options available to choose from. I want to add comment here on the other options as I understand them. Option 2, a well and 1,000 gallon per minute pump. This option sounds fine, but with the 1,000 gallon per minute pump, you must have a well that produces 1,000 gallons per minute, or you need a storage tank, which puts you back to option 1. Or, from what I have garnered from professionals in this field, a commercial type well would need to be installed with a larger diameter casing and a well capable of 1,000 gallons per minute. This could also run in the $100,000 plus range. Option 3, dry hydrant. From my understanding and research, this is possibly the most reasonable as far as cost, but requires the availability of at least a 30,000 gallon pond, lake, or other water body that cannot be rendered unusable because of freezing or low water in the proposed subdivision. This could be a huge hurdle in Montana to guarantee it won't freeze over. Option 4. Not sure what these would be, but could be an option. Option 5. Existing systems off-site. This could be a good option if one is available near a proposed subdivision if the existing subdivision, landowners, or homeowners association agree, but would probably not be feasible to obtain all the approvals and easements. These systems requiring a 1,000 gallon per minute pump requires 3-phase wiring, which is not readily available in all areas, and I have been told it is very expensive to bring in, but I have no first-hand knowledge on this. I want the county to consider and look into each of these options to understand what they may be approving and how it will affect and the costs of Broadwater County residents that consider applying for a minor subdivision. I think it would be helpful for the county to discuss these options with the county engineer, Great West, to understand what is required with each option, as I have no expertise in this at all. It would also be helpful to add, if required, to these to allow the fire department to look at each individual proposed subdivision and its particular needs in developing a fire plan. Lastly, I understand your concerns in addressing for emergency services, but I still feel the addition of a driveway limited to 1 home is excessive for a minor subdivision. I think of my property, and if I had to build a 24-foot wide road surface for my shared driveway. I wanted to comment on I think she means one last time, and I'm hopeful for the county to pass user-friendly subdivision regulations. I do realize the county's concerns on growth and having good foundational regulations to protect all the existing residents of the county. I fear some of these regulations will now be too large of a cost to the residents of Broadwater County to do a minor subdivision, and these proposed regulations will make it that only the large developers will be able to subdivide and drive costs of land even higher. I appreciate your time and the county's openness to comments. Thank you, Bernadette Swenson, Schauber Surveying. So I read that letter into the record for 2 reasons. Obviously, to capture public comment, and also to note that Deputy County Attorney Kay Minor did make the change that was suggested by Bernadette regarding the certificate of survey. So each of you commissioners should have in front of you a copy of amendments for page 35. I believe they are also posted on the screen here for the public to view. We did not post these on the website, is my understanding, because this note and these changes came quite late this morning. That was my fault. I was out of the office on Thursday when this email was sent, and I did not notice it until this morning. So I want to take full responsibility for that. This did not get forwarded to the commissioners on Friday. In any case, the change has been made by, again, Deputy County Attorney Kay Minor, and you have that change in front of you. I am happy to read it into the record if you would like me to do so.
Yes, please.
Okay. So I'm going to read all of section 2B7 because I feel that's appropriate. Recorded final plats. A, If a final plat has been recorded at the county clerk and recorder office, there can be no amendments to the recorded final plat unless necessary to correct an error on the survey pursuant to Section 76.3404 and or Section 76.3614 MCA. And item 2B7B states any proposed changes to the recorded final plat require the subdivider to submit the new subdivision application or subdivision exemption claim application to the subdivision administrator for review in pre-application meeting and pay a new application fee. Subdividers will schedule a time to submit the new subdivision application. So I want to thank Bernadette for those comments and noting that that has been amended.
Yeah, thank you very much for getting that done.
And Chairman Folkford, if I may address some of these other comments.
Yes, ma'am.
So in Bernadette's comments regarding fire protection, I do understand her comments. I just, again, want to reiterate, I know I've spoken of this before, that our planning board chairman is actually also the fire chief, the Broadwater County Rural Fire District Fire Chief, Ed Schindel. The planning board spent approximately 2 hours just on this fire protection section alone. So I just want to reiterate that a lot of consideration was given to including the fire protection regulations in our subdivision regulations. And the reason I bring up that Ed Schindel is the fire chief, obviously I myself feel he is the subject matter expert that we have here in Broadwater County. So we are also quite fortunate to have him on the planning board and to give his perspective from a fire chief perspective, as well as sitting in his role as planning board chairman. So he's considering these subdivisions from a development standpoint, which is what the planning board considers. He's also considering it from the residents, the inhabitants of the subdivision point of view, and being that he is the person on the ground who is tasked with fighting these fires. So I think his perspective is just a wealth of knowledge to be able to have that from the development standpoint all the way through to the end user being the residents living in these subdivisions and how important fire protection is for these subdivisions. So the planning board unanimously voted to include these fire protection regulations in the subdivision regulations, again, after much consideration and deliberation. So I just want to add that point that this was considered. Fire regulations and fire protection can be cumbersome. There can be a cost. I think $100,000 is excessive. I don't believe that that would be the cost for fire protection. Again, this is from my perspective. But I think it's important to have some type of fire protection built into these subdivisions in the interest of public health and safety and for the people that will be living in these subdivisions. To speak on the shared driveway aspect, I do understand Bernadette's point that, you know, to require every driveway to serve only one home, I realize at some times may be impossible because of topography, because of approach permit situations. And I want to add that there's always the option for a developer to request a variance. Now, that does not guarantee that that variance will be accepted by the commissioners. And in fact, in order for a developer to submit a variance, they must submit the variance in at the same time as the subdivision application, and they won't know if that variance is approved until that development comes before the commissioners at the time where I'm presenting to you requesting preliminary plat approval, and at that time the commissioners vote on the variance. So there's a bit of a gamble or a risk with submitting a variance. But if a developer and or a representative feel very strongly that it suits their situation, that's always an option. A variance is always an option, and I will make sure that that's part of the conversation when I'm meeting with developers and representatives for their pre-application meeting and moving forward. So,
Okay. Will the planning board also have an opportunity to discuss that?
The variance?
Yes.
Yes, they do not vote on it.
Right.
They make recommendations.
Right, they'll make the recommendation.
Indeed.
Okay. All right, good.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Now, that was my a question I had brought up with Nicole previously. Just looking at some people who are trying to not necessarily subdivide to create a huge subdivision or multiple lots, but they're subdividing to get one lot in lieu of doing like a family transfer. And so I can see and I understand where Bernadette's concerns are regarding the cost. And I think you have to have those safeguards in place for the public, for the people living there, for any type of planning, especially as we get more people in, we become more dense as a county. We're going to need those resources already laid out. I think there are options for people, and I guess this is more of a question for you. There are other options. You wouldn't need to go to a big engineering firm necessarily. And I'm looking at this from a small subdivider. My family might want to give you 5 acres. You want to build your house on it, but you're going through the subdivision process. You don't have to go to a big engineering firm to figure out the fire suppression. Is that correct? There's other
Mr.
options.
Chair, may I address?
Yes, you may.
Yes, yeah, Commissioner Brickmeyer, that is absolutely the case. You do not have to work with, one of the large engineering firms to accomplish that. There are engineering firms or engineers available. There are other resources as opposed to some of the maybe more well-known engineering firms that may charge more money for the engineering of the road, the construction of the road. And again, like I said, there's always the variance option. If the variance option suits or fits that development, I can certainly work with the developer. If they bring that idea forward, I'm not advising development, but I work very closely with the developer in the initial stages to make sure that I want to get them to a yes as well. If I may be so bold as to say, when it comes time for preliminary plat, I don't want to bring a failing project before the commissioners. So I think that conversation will take place early on before it gets to the commissioners. That doesn't mean that you certainly would have the option to say no to a variance request if you felt it was appropriate. I realize that kind of went around your question, but there are other options, I suppose, is what I'm getting at.
Just there are options, and again with the roads and the variances, I had kind of forgotten about the variance option for people in a situation where it would make sense. I do think there are still some smaller families or ranch families, different places that are trying to, you don't want to build a whole new road right through your ranch property, right? You want to share that driveway. You might need to apply for that variance. It would be the sensible thing in that case. But I'm glad there's a variance process. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I think we said this many times. The planning department is called planning for a reason. We're planning. And that's part of our process. Okay, any other comments or questions? No? All right, is there a motion to adopt? And also, I would like to include the language for this recent update that was done in 2B7, please.
2B7. Okay. I move to approve the 2024 amended subdivision regulations with the updated language in section 2B7, recorded final plats.
I will second that motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approve the 2024 amended subdivision regulations with the updated language in section 2B7, recorded final plats. Is there any public discussion? Any public discussion? Any public discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And also, Nicole, thank you, Kaylin, for all your awesome hard work. This has been a big
Yes.
project, and I know there's been a lot of other folks involved, the planning board. So I know I'm probably leaving people out, but great project. It's good to finally see us at this point. So thank you very
Indeed.
much.
Yes, thank you.
Knowing that legislative session is going to
just going to say.
Oh my gosh,
in
right?
another 3 months, which we'll probably be back changing it again. But anyway, for right now, we're doing okay. Okay. Okay, I don't have any mail or claims. Is there anything else to come before the commission?
Not that I'm aware of.
No? Okay, with that, we're adjourned. 10:36. Thank you.